The Telangana state government has prepared a draft bill for the welfare of gig and platform workers with plans to introduce it on the 1st of May, that is the International Labour Day. The Labour Department of the state of Telangana has drafted the Telangana Gig and Platform Workers Bill, aimed at ensuring job security, insurance and other rights for gig workers. Officials briefed Chief Minister Revanth Reddy on the contents of the draft during a recent meeting, and the Chief Minister has directed that the final version of the bill be ready by the 25th of April so that it can be implemented on the 1st of May as planned. The proposed legislation envisions many safeguards for nearly 4 lakh gig and platform workers across the state of Telangana. According to the draft bill, if an aggregator fails to contribute to the welfare fund set up for gig workers, they could face imprisonment of up to a year, a fine of rupees 2 lakhs or both. On the 14th of April, Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy had said that the bill should serve as a model for the entire country. He has also instructed officials to immediately make the draft bill public to gather suggestions and feedback from all sections of society. The Chief Minister emphasized that gig workers across sectors like food delivery, transport and courier services deserve protection. He recalled the government's pre-election promise to legislate safeguards for these workers and noted that Telangana was the first state to implement accidental insurance for gig workers. We have Mr. K.S. Prasad, political analyst, now joining us live on the broadcast. Mr. K.S. Prasad, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on News9. This is set to be a model for other states to follow. The number of gig workers are only increasing in every state, not just Telangana. Telangana alone has 4 lakh. You can only imagine some of the biggest states in the country, the number of gig workers that are there in those bigger states. But talk to us, your initial thoughts on the contents of this draft bill.
So, good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to the viewers. It's really a practical thing which is about to implement from years together. Unfortunately, Telangana has got initiated, and which was drafted on 25th of April, and May 1st, they are about to execute on the International Labour Day. As far as gig workers are an aggregate of 4 lakhs plus in Telangana. As far as some people like Swiggy or Zomato, these people have their own organizations or courier organizations. They take care of these things. Coming into the for street vendors and like platform vendors, I don't know what sort of the draft bill sounds and says about their protection as far as accidental insurance and other things are concerned, because these people are in a consolidated way. They can have their corpus fund or whatever the way they can collect, and they can deduct from their salaries, and finally they can takes care of the future assurances and other things. But I'm so concerned about the people who are on the street vendors, for which also this draft bill is very clear. And I don't know what sort of government initiatives, if I'm not so wrong, and if I'm also clear, the government itself will take initiative as far as their accidental insurance is concerned. And apart from that, there some sort of corpus fund and all for the street vendors, for gig workers, it's quite impossible. First of all, the countdown. I know pretty well about Telangana's ability. It's a spontaneous and it's a matter of fact and a matter of time as far as the data is collecting data is concerned. But when it comes to execution, how far and how best they are about to, that's what we need to look at it. And if it comes to the existence from May 1st onwards, it's a great and fantastic move from the government, which they're about to initiate as far as imprisonment. If somebody won't implement and all, they're causing some sort of imprisonment and with a 2 lakh penalty and all. It all sounds good, but I'm so concerned about the street vendors and how they have been considered.
Or you're saying that the main flaw of this bill so far is that the street vendors are not considered as gig workers, so hence they get no cover or protection because of this bill. But also talk to us, I know my understanding is that the accidental insurance has already been implemented in Telangana.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Accidental insurance is covered for the people who works in Zomato and Swiggy, example I'm telling, and even in courier services also. But I'm so concerned about the gig workers who are on the platform and street vendors and these people, how the government will take measures. And it's a matter of fact, when it comes to the blanket policy, as far as street vendors are concerned, if they collect the data, It's a matter of fact, hardly it costs 30 rupees for each lakh of accidental insurance. On an aggregate, it really, if an aggregate, if they take for 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, it sounds really good. And it is not so a good investment. It's not a bad investment on the prospect of street workers. That's what I'm saying.
But there's also questions on how they will ensure job security. This bill is also envisioned to ensure that these gig workers have job security. And job security is something that's very difficult to guarantee.
Yeah, it's quite impossible. I'm saying that as far as Zomato and Swiggy examples like courier services who are all been like DDDC professional couriers examples are there. Those people will give some sort of basic, like if you take on your board as far as these people are concerned, training and other things, bare minimum of 2 years, you need to give the bare assurance and other things. This is sounds good, but I'm so concerned about street vendors. This is what the biggest challenge for this government. If they give a protection of as a, this thing like insurance, what about the rest things like professional fund and gratuity and other things? These people anyway, they will be taken care by the respective organizations. If government imposes a penalty clause and government says a very clear clause stating that these people also to be considered as a permanent employees, and the employment structure after 2 years or 3 years you need to make them permanent. This is how government draft bills. But I'm so this thing as far as street workers are concerned.
Is a big concern. The other concern is also whether they'll be able to stick to the deadline, isn't it?
Yeah, practically, if they want to stick to the guns of deadlines, every time deadlines are being fixed from years together, meeting of deadlines is not so easy. But as a data of 4 lakhs, which they collected from various pockets of Telangana, addressing 4 lakhs, as far as in democracy, particularly the chief minister, if it really takes a call in a proper way, it's a matter of fact. But
Okay.
as I said, the street workers, if they draft bill says very clearly as far as the preamble is concerned and how they have been taken care as far as their individual protections are concerned,
Right.
then it will be. And particularly if they have been doing this particular business from years together, those people will be given an ABC category or whatever you name it as. That time
Okay.
it will be easier for us.
Okay, stay with us. We also have Mr. Sangam Tripathi, labor rights activist and national advisor, Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers. Mr. Sangam Tripathi, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on News9. Now, your thoughts on this bill, a first of its kind bill for gig workers that the Telangana state government is set to introduce?
Yeah, so it's a very forward-looking bill and a very progressive bill, I think. As your viewers may know or may not know, that it was in 2023 and 24 that for the first time the Rajasthan government formulated a bill, but that never saw the light of the day because there was a change of the government, and the BJP government came to power, and the bill is just lying in cold storage. Then, of course, Karnataka was next, and it took us some time because of the resistance from the aggregators and the platforms who were not in favor of the bill. But because of the strong stance that the Congress party took, last week the Karnataka bill was also enacted through an ordinance. And yesterday, of course, we had a meeting with the chief minister in Telangana. We had been kind of pushing for this bill for some time, and it's quite a progressive bill. I think a very good start to say. Your previous speaker said that 4.5 lakh workers and how will they? But the issue is that the kind of lives these people are living, whether it's cab drivers or food delivery riders or even the beauticians and others, the kind of meager wages they are getting, the very poor earnings that they are earning, the kind of job insecurity. At the drop of a hat, their IDs are deactivated, they are put out of work. So all these things, are kind of being addressed through this bill. It's a very good start, I think. The bill is in public domain since last evening, and of course, we are going to give our suggestions also in terms of income security, because that is a very big issue. What the driver or the food delivery rider takes home at the end of the day, that is the one biggest issue. And so, although we don't think that to mandate this bill is going to mandate any, but at least some kind of income security. So, and there are good provisions of grievance redressal. Until now, if your ID was blocked, it could be for 1 week, 1 month, whatever, and you had no recourse to grievance redressal. Now, a process has been put in place whereby the aggregators or the platforms will have to tell the worker why their IDs have been blocked. In terms of payments and wages, the schedules have been set up to say that, you either make these payments. And the best thing is that, there is the welfare fund is going to be monitored by a payout from every transaction. So every transaction that takes place, there will be a small element of assess kind of a thing, a payout from the payout, and that will go into the fund which will support social security for these workers.
Right, and that will come from a increased price for the consumers?
Well, not really. It all remains to be seen. How this is, but the thing is, from our experience, in Karnataka and elsewhere, whenever we talk to the consumer, a consumer would really not bother about a 1 rupee extra if the bill is 100 rupees and they have to pay 101 rupees. Umpteen numbers of consumers that we have talked about and told them that where this 1 rupee or whatever it is would go, it would go for the welfare of the workers. And our experience has been that it hardly matters if your 100 rupees bill becomes 100.50 or 101 rupees.
All right, but talk to us in terms of how does this bill or this particular move by the government aim to ensure job security to gig workers? Yes, there is a grievance redressal mechanism, but job security is something that is difficult to guarantee, not just for gig workers but for other workers as well in a climate like this.
If you read the bill, it doesn't talk of any job security as such.
Okay.
It doesn't have any clause where it says that it guarantees job security. But what the government is also saying, and what we also agree, is that 4.5 lakh jobs are, and mind you, these jobs are like jobs for survival. I mean, nobody is doing these jobs. That cab driver who rides his cab for 14 hours to 16 hours, or that delivery boy who runs around the town on his bike for 14 to 16 hours, they're not doing it because there's big money in this. They're doing it just because there are no other jobs available. So when we talk about job security, it just does not mean that it's going to guarantee them a permanent job or anything. But whatever gig jobs are there, see, this whole concept of gig worker, it's an imported word. It doesn't exist in India, right? And the gig worker, as you understand by a gig worker in North America or something, is something very different to the gig worker here.
Right.
There, a gig worker may have a 9 to 5 job, and he may
And in
just
that
want to
sense,
drive a taxi on.
Ms. Sangam Tripathi, that's what KS Prasad has been talking to us about as well. The gig worker definition should also include street vendors, isn't it, Mr. KS Prasad?
Well,
Yeah.
I really can't say anything about that because, I mean, our area of work is primarily the platform workers who are involved in transport and services and other things, So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that is something for the government and the other stakeholders to decide. Because as of today, if you read this particular bill, if you read, what does it cover? It covers ride sharing services, food and grocery delivery, logistics, e-marketplace, professional activity provider, healthcare, travel and hospitality, content and media, any other goods and service provider platform. So it
Right.
primarily talks about transport and such kind of home-based
So,
services.
Mr. KS Prasad, clearly the bill does not include, and also, there is, because probably because they don't have a representation of the sorts that, these platform workers do, unfortunately, they won't be a part of it.
No, no, I'm serious. Sorry to say about the gentleman. What he's saying is, as far as the transportation workers are really concerned, they have insurance policy along with the car itself. Even if you take third party policy also, it is properly protected for the people around. And I'm not so concerned about the people who are working with the organizations. If government puts some sort of immense pressure on them, it's a matter of fact for the
Right.
protection of insurance
Right.
and other things are concerned. But if you really look into the street vendors, they
Right.
need to take a call. I'm talking about in the collection of 4.5 lakh people,
Absolutely. A call needs
hardly
to be
a lakh
taken.
people will be the street vendors.
Right.
If government take a norm with the ABC category who have been working and who have been having the stall from last 1, 2 years or 3
Right.
years,
Right.
comes under the ABC category, then
Right.
if insurance has been provided as a
Point
blanket
taken.
this thing,